What's going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Guys, we have a lot of topics to go through, a wide variety of things to say and give our thoughts and opinions on. As usual, it is great to see everybody in the chat. Huge shout out to the chat and everybody who came in to check out this show bright and early in terms of when, we decide that we got to start. I do have to say the panel was all pretty much in on time this week. I think we should declare it a national holiday. But speaking of the panel, let's get into the intros. And I want to introduce this man first as the Sonic hater on this panel. Yeah, that is right. It is time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey guys, no, I don't hate Sonic. It's just I like games.
You should have heard behind the scenes.
Man, I just don't like games that you just point right and then hit A button all the time. I want a little more depth than that. But outside of that, long live Sonic, I guess.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, and Locke and other icons.
Hey, maybe Sonic and Locke can come together and make a spin-off.
Oh my gosh! Do you think that's a solution there, Mega?
That would be the worst game ever.
Mega, play that new otter.
Mega's like, no.
Oh, I only. You know what? Not now, because I got to get to it.
He's too busy peeing on the floor, from what we hear. So
I'm about to pee one more time. Here we go.
Ah.
Yeah. That's good.
That's a short one.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just had a little bit to push out.
Yeah, to push it out.
His bladder. What's going
problems over there, man? With your bladder?
No, my bladder's fine.
You got a stone? What's going on?
No, I know that did sound pretty bad because when it just blew up, I said, "Oh shit, come on now."
I think this is a record for how quickly this show just went off the rails, and
you started it.
I have a feeling I did it this time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I'll take the responsibility, but let's go on. Next on the list, saving the world for over 1,263 times, the man himself, Dark Optimus!
Hey, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here tonight. We're ready to get into these topics, man.
Optimus, I just want to hear, I heard a rumor that whenever you're in a party chat and you're playing games with a bunch of people, anytime you talk, people just go Bloom. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
I did not know. I was not a part of this. Nobody sent me the memo, so now I know when we're in parties together, I got to do the same thing now, man. I got to keep it uniform.
Yeah, man, you gotta keep the.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
The otter's about to get angry.
Sir, there's only one bot on this show. I'm just saying.
Am I botting again?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're disappearing and you're botting and you're doing all sorts of craziness, dude. So I think he's gonna go fix that. Let's go next on the list. The man who seems to have that gameplay curse. He has claimed that he is third place every week. I had a real issue getting the gameplay in for him this week as well. What the? I don't even know what that is.
That is our boy going in and fixing his internet, and he's upset about it.
It sounded like somebody was choking a seagull and making a little kid cry. Hey, Mega, do you think I could, introduce our fam right here real quick? I got like 99% of the way. I just didn't say his name, man. What's going on?
Just adding more to the disrespect. That's all.
All right.
Well, my name ain't Otter.
I am talking about Predator.
I don't even know if I want to take that intro right now. The way Mega fucked that up. Man.
He's got a frown the size of a handlebar mustache right now.
Angry Predator now.
Uh-huh. That's the next sound I gotta find. Anyway, keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm here, guys. I'm third place again this week. I'm pretty sure, especially since Bot fucked up my footage on purpose.
Wow. See, man, why you gotta put me under the bus like that, dude?
Oh man, I know we got some topics to get into, so I'll keep it short and sweet. So let's get it going.
Nice. All right. Well, did I get everybody? I think I got everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Everybody. Well, hold on. I forgot. Coming live from the 405. And
You got everybody.
He's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamers out there. It is my brother, K Mega. Yo, Jesse in the chat's like someone killed that turkey.
Throat baby.
Someone killed that turkey.
Hey, that is hey man, look, we're glad to be here. I am now labeling myself the Slayer of Valkyries. You know what I'm saying? Because I killed the Valkyrie in record time.
People don't know what you're talking about. What game are you talking about, man?
I'm talking about God of War. I just beat my third Valkyrie, and I did it in record fashion. I posted it up on Twitter. And either the PlayStation brethren has to give K Mega his props on beating a Valkyrie in a record time, or the game of the century, the game of all games has a bug, has a glitch. So whichever one you want to do, PlayStation Nation, let me know. But regardless, I still beat that motherfucking bitch in a record time, and it felt good.
All right, so hold on. How did you do this? Was it a glitch that you found that you kind of like took advantage of, or
look? Let's just put it here. K Mega is skilled in the arts of battle. I was forged in darkness, in fire. So therefore, when I put my hands on any of these controllers, you know what I'm saying, things with great, just, I can't even say it, you know what I'm saying, because it's so amazing.
He found the glitch is what's going on. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, it may seem that way. It may seem that way. Anyway, regardless, it was pretty crazy because it was like my 6th time fighting that Valkyrie. I would have beat her on the 3rd time, but for some reason, it didn't register me getting the health, and then I would have finished her off. So they just killed me off, which really pissed me off. But what happened was that I got into a position where I was taking down some enemies, and then you could do like those little crazy cine kills or whatever, those little cinematic kills. And I was going to cinematic kill one of the minions, and she ran right in front of the minion, and I caught her. And she, next thing you know, I start seeing wings start flying. I was like, oh! So I showed it. It was pretty crazy, man. It was pretty crazy. So she still had well over half of her life. So,
wow. So your haters, they have a decision they have to make. Then it's either you have skill and you did this whole thing in, like you said, record time, or they have to admit that this 10 out of 10 game that that they're claiming actually does have glitches that affect gameplay or whatnot.
Right, absolutely. So I mean, games that are labeled 10 should not have glitches. They shouldn't have. So therefore, if the game is not a glitch and it's the game of the generation, therefore then K Mega is the Slayer of Valkyries.
I'm kind of curious to see if our developer on the panel, the Don, if he has anything to say about that whole glitch theory. Don, anything, man?
Well, I mean, all games have glitches. Just some are more noticeable than others, right? Mm-hmm. So, I would have to say if we're going to start scoring perfect games when they have glitches, then K Mega gets it.
Nice.
I mean, and it pains me to give K Mega credit for skills, but I mean, that hurts my soul. Well, but
Don, you heard off the air, K Mega wants to get into his first ever Destiny 2 raid. Don, I know you haven't played Destiny in a while, but don't you think you want to be a part of that crew?
I'm a little worried about that, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Destiny today.
No.
So, I get it in. I get Destiny 2 in every week, man.
So sometimes our communication just playing a Sea of Thieves is a little spotty. When it comes to that, there's a little bit of bickering that happens with navigation and and whoever's on the wheel. But
See, I think
Destiny would be
K-Mega,
interesting.
he's good at steering the ship. I think, personally,
Yeah.
last time I played the game.
But
So.
there's always a breakdown of communication between the navigator and Mega. And, I don't know who's to blame, but there's always that breakdown. So there's even more communication involved in a raid. So it'd be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. But Mega, you're going to have fun. Raids are one of the funnest parts of Destiny.
Yeah, that is kind of like, that is the gem in the crown of the game. That is the thing that you are working towards and working to complete. So it'll be fun. Like I said, Mega, I'll get the Iron Lords together, man, and we will go in on your first ever Leviathan raid, and I think you're gonna have a blast. Every emotion, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna get mad, you're gonna break shit, and at the end of the day, we'll complete it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Nice. Talking about games and kind of like possible concerns and stuff for that. Let's get into the first topic, which is Crackdown 3. Now, people out there know this Crackdown. I am really looking forward to playing, and we all know that they talked about online multiplayer, destructible environment, power of the cloud, and everything like that. But it also seems that at the latest trailer, the E3 trailer, at the end of the trailer, when they put in kind of like the developers' names and the teams that are working on the game, we only saw Sumo Digital, and that caused some concern. There's a lot of people questioning what's going on, if the online kind of like cloud-powered destruction, if that is in jeopardy, if they took it out or whatnot. So I figured this would be a great topic to start with. And let's go with Predator. First off, Predator, did you notice that at the end of the trailer for Crackdown 3 that they only showed Sumo Digital?
I actually didn't, not until it was mentioned later, and I was like, interesting. I do know that the other team, the CloudGen, I think was purchased by Epic, and maybe that kind of was a catalyst for them maybe not showing it because they had to go back and re-scrap it and do some other stuff with it. But that's my guess anyway. But I also know that Microsoft has hired a lot of they purchased a couple of cloud-based companies here over the past couple of years now. So, and maybe this transitioned over to those people. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not worried about it. I think Matt Booty came out and said that they're still doing the destructible stuff.
When did he say that?
Was that?
When did he say that? Just for reference for other people.
I'm not. I thought it was around E3 time. I may be wrong. Maybe
It was an article that came out.
Was it just before E3, right?
No. I read the article just this week, so I don't know when it actually came out, but it was just this week when it was said. So.
Well, Mega, if you get a chance, can you put the link in the DM? I would definitely like to read on that, because a lot of people, like I said, they're questioning if they drop this kind of like online multiplayer. They're gonna put in new modes. We already know that. When Crap Gamer is so confident about some of the information that he gets, I can tell when it's like 100% legit. The information that he's getting. I believe that they are putting new online multiplayer modes, but we gotta be real here. The real kind of like that mainstay when it comes to multiplayer is what they've been hyping up with this game, and that is the cloud powered destruction and being able to level the city and all that good stuff. So Pred, you said you're not worried. You think it's going to be in there, everything's all good?
I'm not gonna go on record and say I think it's gonna be all good, but I think they put a lot of effort into trying to get this to work. The fact they haven't shown it is worrying me. I thought E3 would have been a perfect stage, but if they don't show it at Gamescom, then I think that's a reason to be concerned.
Okay. All right. I got you. And see, I'm going to save a certain person on the panel kind of until last, because he might have some thoughts and opinions on why it was only Sumo Digital. And
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither. It might be the Otter, actually. But no. Yo, Mega, what do you think about this? Is there any concern, coming from you personally, from your camp, that we only saw Sumo Digital's name? Do you think that online destructible multiplayer is still coming?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm finding the article right now. It's from usgamer.net. The headline even says Crackdown 3 Destruction Heavy Multiplayer Mode still in development. Don't worry, you will still blow things up. I'll send that link to you.
Do you have the date of the article?
Yeah, 6/22. So
6/22. Okay.
Yeah.
That was
so
yesterday.
Yeah, so I mean, but I read it like earlier this week, so I was trying to find the original part, but this was 6/22. So and like I said, this will I'll post it on Twitter, and I'll post it in the link so you guys can see it too. But it's from usgamer.net. But for me personally, I mean, it's like, I asked that question on GRG just because of the fact that there's some people out there panicking, and I do feel that like Fred, when it comes to like, okay, that is the selling point for me for Crackdown is the multiplayer, because I love Battlefield so much and how the destruction in that game is. To have this take it to an ultimate level, to me that is like that's crack to me. So I want to see this. I want this to happen, but without showing it, you kind of leaving people in limbo, saying like, well, why you wouldn't show that? Because that is probably the biggest selling point to Crackdown 3. Not so much for the single player aspect of it, but if you want to bring in people that are hardcore into multiplayer and that loves Battlefield, then this could be the perfect sandlot for them to jump onto this as well. And not showing this is just letting people be confused a little bit. So my hype level is still there, but my concern is probably up to maybe 15%. Except for where it was just last month, because they haven't showed anything yet. But I mean, let's give it to Gamescom, or from rumor them Microsoft is bringing out their own show, and then if they show the multiplayer then, and just they'll blow the doors off, because if they have their own show, that's crazy. So it'll be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm still not worried to the level of some people.
Yeah,
the original date was June 20th. From Polygon was the interview he did.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, well, Mega, like, let's say that it's not canceled. People brought up a great point with having Sumo Digital as like the only name for the development team at the end of that trailer, and Predator brought up a good point with the whole that cloud development team getting bought up or whatnot. But why do you think that it was only Sumo Digital at the end of that?
I mean, when I was reading about that situation, is that the main guy that made the original Crackdown, he's more into sports, and it's not into like basketball, football, but into gaming sports. And so he left and went into get with Epic and doing something with esports. So I'm pretty sure that's got to do something with Fortnite. That is his thing. That is what he enjoys. So he jumped off of that, probably seeing that Sumo Digital is over there doing a good job with it. They probably took a little bit of their advice from what they did, and then they just put in their work into it. Plus the other guys, that's a part of that engine. That cloud engine, they just went to Epic. They're probably working on other games and things of that nature. So it's more of a thing not to be panicked about, because once you first seen it in the articles, it means like, oh, there was probably a problem or issue. But I think if there was some kind of true problem or issue, it would already been addressed by now. Kind of like when Bungie left. They were kind of talking about freedom and all that, what I'm saying? So they were kind of like they wanted to do their own different thing. You haven't heard anything about what's going on now. So I don't think it's in a bad state. I think that it's just that these guys they got employed by another employer, and they're over here doing their thing over there. And they feel that probably that the people that's working on Crackdown now is doing a good job.
I got you, man. I got you. Now, one of my theories, and this is just a theory, people, it's something that I'm not sure if it could be grounded in anything that's happened in the past. When it comes to just seeing Sumo Digital at the end of that trailer, if you look at that trailer was all single player campaign. I'm not sure. This is why I'm saying that's my theory on this, is because they showed strictly the single player. But now I am going to bring it to the Don. He's moved up the ladder to second to last. Don, what do you think about my theory there? Is there any kind of validation for that in terms of, you know, what they showed, so they really put the team on there that was doing that? Or why do you think it was only Sumo Digital at the end of that trailer? Is there any concerns on your part, man?
Not really. It shows me they're consolidating in one area. They're doubling down on Sumo Digital. And, you know, obviously they've earned, you know, the development rights to the game. I don't think previous work was thrown away or anything like that either. That's the other weird thing is, you know, I think CloudGen is considered more middleware than developer. Does that make sense?
That's what I was thinking too, as well.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't show an E3 stage all the middleware that's involved with the game. You know what I mean?
You need to do that. It needs to scroll like a Marvel movie credit scene.
Yeah. You know, you have Simply Gone and all the other stuff that's involved middleware wise. So that's another thing too. You know, like, until they officially say it's canceled, I'm not going to react to it one way or another. Everything I hear, it's locked down and solid. So I have questions if it doesn't come out the way, you know, everyone's worried about. If it comes out the way everyone's being worried about, then I do have questions for those people. But for everything I'm hearing too, it's good to go. I'm seeing that from Delilah HD in the chat. You know, shout out to Delilah. Absolutely love seeing you in the chat and bringing kind of like your expertise and your knowledge when it comes to gaming, you know, into the
GRG, baby.
Yeah, and she's basically saying that, you know, she's been following its development history, and the game was ready last fall, but they wanted to add more dev time in order to prevent another recourse situation, which I can definitely see that. She also says that the game is actually ready this fall, but she's saying that they're not bringing it out because the back half of 2018 is crowded. I think me and you can debate that one, but what do you think about that, Don?
Well, I mean, if you're going to delay a game, might as well use that time to polish it, right? Like, you know, regardless if the delay is stemmed from a bad release date time or it not being ready, one or the other. I mean, you're going to use that time that you have there and take advantage of it. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm excited about Crackdown. I am equally as excited about the campaign as I am the destruction, believe it or not, because I enjoyed Crackdown 1. I'm a fan of the series. I don't care when some people will put weight on there. It's like, well, it's never been a huge series. I don't care. I want the game. Have to be. Yeah, I want the game. As somebody that plays games and enjoys the original Crackdown, I've been wanting a proper sequel. Me and Bot feel differently about 2, but you know,
2
regardless,
is awesome, people.
Regardless, we both enjoyed the game and we both want a sequel, right? So that's really what it comes right down to it. And I want to be better in every single way. And if they can appeal to a wider audience by making it even more polished, I'm totally fine with it. You know, they have what I would say Microsoft could use is a little bit more flexibility in their roadmap, if that makes any sense, because the public kind of does let their imagination run with them a little bit. You know, when they don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. So I think sometimes just having that ability to kind of just lean into it a little bit, kind of like how what they did for Rage, once it was all kind of out, they just kind of leaned into it and just went with it, right? And I think it'd be nice to see Microsoft have a little more flexibility with that, especially for those who are just true fans of the product. So,
all right, cool. So I was gonna say, so you're not really concerned. You're kind of like in a wait and see aspect, but like I was really interested to hear what you had to say on this in terms of, because know the history.
I see where everyone's coming from, right? And not everyone is going to talk to the same people I talk to, and then they talk to code to me and vice versa and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, I totally get it. I see where their concerns are, but you know, Crackdown's more than just the multiplayer, and you know, regardless of what's going on with the multiplayer, which is next level stuff, I think it's going to be a fun game overall. I mean, it's a Microsoft game. It's single player. It is good multiplayer. This is what they do the best.
Can I mention something real quick that I just thought about, because I was sitting there posting stuff in our Twitter thing. Microsoft just created their own cloud division, right? So they don't necessarily need to advertise their cloud if it's within the company. Like, they don't have to advertise Xbox and cloud tech.
If the tech in the game is theirs, then yeah, they don't have to put like any other development team in there,
because they're doing it in house. That's why they're buying up all that shit that I just posted in our Twitter stuff a minute ago. They're buying,
but it's more middleware. It's more classified as that. So that's the thing. It's like they don't that list is not there. They don't have the list of all the middleware that's involved with the game.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I'm thinking like. And again, they're not using all the cloud for gaming; they're using it for other services too. But, but I'm thinking in my mind, so I'm thinking they're buying up all this cloud technology, all these smaller companies and stuff like that, for the future, right? So, and they're putting it under that cloud, gaming cloud, whatever they have now, that division they're creating. It's all going to be under that. So they don't really need to go and advertise on every fucking disc and every damn package they send out for a game that they're using cloud. So when you see the one company on there and you don't see any of the other ones on there, they don't really need to do that anymore. They're just putting the one on there that they don't own. They don't have to put Xbox on there. It's already on the packaging. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely got you on that. I know as far as myself, and I think Predator, you brought up a really great point with, Xbox opening up that whole kind of like cloud gen, team or kind of like inner division, whatever you want to call it, under Xbox or whatnot. I do want to hear what Dark Optimus has to say. I want to hear if he has any concerns, after that trailer, and I want to hear if he thinks that we're making any sense here with kind of like the stuff we're coming up with as well. So, Dark?
You guys never make any sense, so...
All right, next! No,
I'm done. I'm done.
Now, what do you think, man?
Am I botting still?
Keep talking, and we will definitely let you know.
Okay.
Just roll with it.
Down 3, it's coming out in February, somewhere around there. It looks interesting. I wasn't intrigued before when I first saw it, but now that I see more stuff about it and I saw that trailer at E3, I was like, you know what, I'm actually gonna probably give this a shot, especially since it's going into Game Pass. I just thought to myself, like, might as well just give it a shot, especially since I'm only paying like $10 a month for the Game Pass. The whole them delaying it till February doesn't bother me. I kind of figured it was probably just for them to polish the game, get it better. The whole cloud stuff, I don't care about the cloud or the multiplayer stuff. It's just I've never been.
You don't care about completely leveling a city and like using the debris and all that?
Not really. No. I know how crazy that sounds.
I'm
but
shaking
I
my
just...
head at you right now. You can't see it, but I am right now, dude.
Man, I want to.
It's great
together for this game, but I don't know about Dark. I mean, I'll let you on.
If you hit me up, yeah, I'll definitely join in with you guys. But multiplayer and stuff has never been my forte.
Well,
like,
speaking
I've never
of
been...
multiplayer, hey Dark, do you see this awesome raid gameplay going on right now?
No, dude, I can't watch any YouTube because my internet is being finicky right now, so I have to
I know K Mega
stick to the
sees it.
Google
He's like,
Hangout.
Wow. Like K Mega, he is in awe right now. So go ahead, man.
But I think I don't really have any concerns with Crackdown 3. I think it'll definitely be polished. I think this is definitely the game that they want to push the Xbox for. So I think it's definitely the one that they want to push the X for as well.
All right.
Because the X, I think, is going to be the one that's going to really show off that destruction and stuff.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around your feelings here. So no, I'm gonna let you have your feelings. Like, you're entitled to that. But like, so you don't get excited for gameplay that's completely new that you've never been able to do before in gaming, because that's usually a guaranteed win for gamers. So is that true, or is it, or just just the premise of it just doesn't make you don't care.
It's just the premise of it. Like I never really liked Crackdown. Like I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the second one. I don't care that it's gonna have all this destruction in it. Like, I mean, it's cool. Like that is definitely something that I looked at and I was like, oh, that is kind of cool. But I'm not like, oh my god, I got to go out and buy this day one because I got to get this this new thing that is coming to the game. Like it just doesn't appeal to me. Like story has always been my thing. Like story, if the game has a good story, then I'm definitely down for that. But if the game doesn't,
story and immersiveness holds more weight for you.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, but we're going to have different views on it. And that's totally okay. Like, you don't have to. It's not your job to like every game that comes out that people are excited about, right? So.
I don't know, complete destruction and everything, like using the debris, seeing a sniper on the top of a building and being like, you know what, I can't shoot him from where I am, I'm just gonna level the building and watch him fall, stuff like that. I'm excited for. I hope that there's nothing wrong. I hope it's still in the game. I've been hearing things that, the multiplayer was running smooth. They're adding more modes into it now. Or whatnot, and they really wanted to polish out the single player. That's what I heard. That's why it's not coming out until early.
Excited for it.
Early 2019. So,
paying it for that.
And just so you guys know, CloudGen's still advertising that they're part of Crackdown.
All right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So then again, just hold your horses, guys. Just
calm your tits, folks.
Yeah, just wait until they say something. One way or another. I understand, we all want to know what's going on. I think a lot of this is kind of also fueled by people that hate the game, hate the idea of the game, or hate just Crackdown in general. In regards to that,
you're actually giving me a segue into the next topic there, because you talk about people hating the game and all that good stuff.
Let me pause you real quick.
You just broke my segue, man.
I know. I broke it on purpose. I want to make sure everybody understands this. Like the tech footage that you saw several years ago, 2015, where the fuck it was, everything was amped up. It's like you're not just gonna be able to shoot a building down with 30 bullets. Like you have to.
You have to work at it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just kind of a test.
They even said it in the beginning of that demonstration as well.
But some people forget that. They think, I'm just going to go put this bullet right here on this pillar and it's going to knock the whole fucking building. No, it doesn't work that way.
No,
I would hope not.
I need my team driving trucks into the foundation while shooting rocket launchers into it and shit like that. We're gonna go in when that game releases.
But that game requires a wild card player every time you go in, right?
So
I don't know if you know one or not.
Dawn is the wild card.
You're talking Delirium Blades, right? As the wild card?
No, Dawn is the wild card. Blades is more subdued, man. Dawn is a fucking maniac.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, it's interesting to see that, because I didn't notice it when they first showed the trailer, but it's interesting to see that they put that one developer out there. I feel like, especially this week, a lot more people were bringing up that fact and asking people to really wonder, because there's been some fairly negative Sony news, and a lot of those people are those diehard Sony fans. And one of the, I guess you could say, the biggest pieces of news was Nintendo coming out when it comes to crossplay. Now, for people who don't know, crossplay, you can play a game across platforms. You can play, say I'm on my Xbox playing a game that has crossplay. Switch has the game as well. I can play against people on that. Crossplay, cross progression, where if you have multiple devices, then you can bring whatever you earn, on your Xbox, and bring it over to the game on another device.
That?
Huh?
Who wants that?
Yeah, nobody. But no, well, with Fortnite, you can do that between Xbox, Switch, PC, and I believe portable as well, mobile devices. And Minecraft, you could do that as well. Now, what happened was Nintendo hit Twitter and really started promoting crossplay, and Sony has kind of been under the bus on this whole situation, because they have been blocking crossplay First off with Minecraft, to where they're not even getting, any updates to that game, kind of like moving forward. They're stuck in a very the PlayStation 4 version, while everybody else has moved up to the kind of like the global version of that game. And of course Fortnite, which is a really big thing. That's one of the hottest games that I know so many kids, so many gamers playing that game right now. So I gotta ask you guys, what is going on? Like, Nintendo is really embracing this. I'm gonna hit K Mega first. What do you think about Nintendo coming out and really promoting this crossplay, talking about it with playing with Xbox? Like, hey, we got that crossplay going on Minecraft. You want to build something? Like, they're really putting it out there. Are they really trying to stick it to Sony here, or what's going on, man?
Well, there's no secret that Nintendo and Sony is not the greatest of friends. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of it is, for seeing Nintendo, for being considered like the kiddie console, kind of stay in their own lane console, for them to take shots at Sony is pretty hilarious. And I mean, it does something that Microsoft just won't do, and it's hilarious. I mean, but again, it's one of those things where you have to give props to Microsoft and for Nintendo for for thinking about the gamers, not so much about thinking about how many consoles that you sell or just your user base. They're actually thinking about what the gamers would like to have. And also, this is another thing that's going to put Sony in a position to where they're going to have to make a decision.
I was hearing pickle the whole time.
I was going to say something different, but I was just like, man, they're going to put them in a position to where they're going to have to they're going to have to choose. And with a game that is as huge as Fortnite, they're going to have to make something happen, or they're going to lose customers, because hiding your keeping your fan base behind behind these their account on PSN, and they can't go out and play and cross play with other platforms just to have that experience is anti-consumer. I mean, that is just absolutely the fact. I mean, I don't see the Red Dragons and them really going out and saying how angry, how anti-consumer it is about that. That is, what I'm saying.
I've seen a lot of deflection when it comes to this, because like
there shouldn't be
a lot of people with talking about the crossplay, which I feel is one of those features that moving forward into into gaming, a couple of years from now or whatever, this is going to be a main staple when it comes to console gaming. I feel like we are going to have more and more cross-platform, online multiplayer experiences. And you see a lot of people deflecting it to the point where, well, you got to pay for Xbox Live Gold in order to play free-to-play games. Did you see that as well? I know Red Dragon has done that as well.
Right. Yeah, he's been pointing that out. But the fact of it is that what's worse, you playing, you hiding behind gold and paying for that and having the opportunity to still play on other platforms with crossplay, or you're paying for PSN and you're still locked in to where you can't play crossplay at all with any other console. Like, to me, it's one of those things where there's something that Lady Infamous brought up.
You don't need PlayStation.
Who plays online on either one of those consoles and doesn't pay for their service?
All of
my argument. That was my argument.
Who is this person that people are talking about?
But he's a YouTuber. I used to really respect and I mean, I still follow him. But
I'm just saying the general audience. Like,
right.
Who are those people? I've never met this type of person people are describing.
They're just like walking around with consoles without playing online, is playing Fortnite.
Yeah, which I totally get. Like, but if you're into online games, right? You mean, don't you pay?
You already have
service? Yeah, you pay for the service for other things. So like, it almost like that. I'm trying to think. I'm like, does this really affect me? I'm like, no. I always play online games that require the service. So the whole not being able to play it for free because it's a free to play game doesn't affect me.
Well, this is the thing about what people like Red Dragon and people that's jumped on that bandwagon.
Thumbs in the chat is going crazy right now, talking about, you know, what's worse? Oh, not being able to play the game at all. You know what I'm saying? In terms of if you don't invest in Xbox Live Gold and stuff like that.
Well, then let's just put it like this. Okay, man, look, I have a PC as well, and if I want to play certain games like WoW or Terra or you know, just say other games that has a subscription to where you have to pay for monthly, I get left behind if I don't continue to pay for those monthly services, regardless of the PC being free. And also, what another problem is with PC, not because it's free, is the fact that developers kind of leave it and leave their games in limbo for a long time. If the game doesn't get to a certain point to where they should sell, then they completely abandon that game, and games will remain to be broken. That's another thing that PC fans don't really actually come out and say, because I can tell you, for a fighting game that can play really well on the PlayStation and on the Xbox, even on the Switch, it might play like junk and have bugs if the game doesn't have a certain criteria of people playing on it, because this is abandoning.
Yo, check this out. I got a little thing here. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because I feel like, you know, both things aren't necessarily the best ways to go here. You know, in terms of the free-to-play games, if there's other platforms doing it, you know, saying that you don't need that paid subscription to play those games online. Here's the thing. Predator and Don asked, when it comes down to it, how many people have these consoles that don't have these subscription services, you know, PSN and Gold for Xbox. And if that's the case, if the people that don't have those are the minority, then it shouldn't hurt them either to make the free-to-play games, you know, you can play them with or without Gold as well. It goes both ways.
Here's the way I look at it is, like, both platforms have to compete for your dollar, right? Mm-hmm. So Sony not offering, you know, basically be able to transfer your information from one console to the other is them not competing in that space. Simple as that. That's all they're doing. They're not competing for your dollar. You can look at Microsoft not competing for your dollar for not allowing free-to-play games not to require an Xbox Live service, right? I don't so much look at either one of the practices as anti-consumers, but is them not being competitive in those spaces. And you as a consumer have to look at those things as like, does that offer value or not? If you look at Nintendo's advertisement, it's an advertisement for a feature that you can do on their platform, right? So, you know, outside of the fans just kind of, you know, basically dogpiling on other fans of a competing platform. I mean, that's really what's going on here. So, I mean, I want cross progression and I want cross play.
Yeah,
as a developer and as a gamer.
So Shady, he said the main issue here, it's not necessarily the cross-play. It's the fact that Sony, with having the game registered to your PlayStation 4 account or whatnot, Sony has made it to the point where it locks everything that you earn on that, and you can't bring it over if you play the game on Switch or you play the game on Xbox, which, you know, that is a big deal. I don't see any rhyme or reason to that other than, and pardon my French here, just to be a dick about it, basically. Like, it's
that's the thing.
I don't understand the fear either, because like here's a harsh reality. Regardless if they have this premise or not, people are going to buy an Xbox or a Switch because they want to buy that console, not because of this policy. So that's not going to deter that competition. Eventually, that happens within the industry. Every generation, what happens? Someone takes the lead, and then the other competing console in that same space will slowly catch up towards the end or close to it, right? So it's not preventing people from buying another console. What you're doing is you're eliminating your console being the default place to play for those early adopters, right? And that's where I don't think they understand. So I mean, they're just not competing in the space, I guess is only way I can like look at it is they're not competing for your dollar. So you as a consumer, you just got a hard choice to make. You know, where are you going to spend your time and your money?
Well, look, this is one thing that Infamous brought up last night. Lady Infamous brought up last night.
We about to get some knowledge right now. Let's go.
Listen, so that was really telling. Okay, basically, I think everybody's seen that Sony is coming out with a Fortnite bundle for the PlayStation, and
well, I got that as a topic as well.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I'll break that. I'll talk about that later. But to me, it's like this is all smoke and mirrors. They know that they're trying to fuck over their consumer base because of the fact of just like an old former employee from Sony is saying, look, this is all about money. This is what this is about. But this is also about inclusion. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Maggie, you saw the response from PlayStation on like why they're not doing
for the kids.
No. When it comes to cross progression, when it comes to cross progression and crossplay, why aren't they doing that? And they're like, well, we sell like 79 million copies. 79 million consoles, and that's it. That was their explanation.
Yeah, well, that's a trash ass explanation. I mean, look, the game. It's just like with Don, and you know what I'm saying is he's being a developer, and anybody else that's that makes games, they want their games to have to last longer. They want their games to be to generate more to get more revenue on top of having more people play the game overall. And if you can get people to get games to go on Game Pass, if you can get people to do to play games on crossplay, if that's something that's attractive to them, why not implement that into, you don't have to do that with every game, but the thing of it is that I think that this is the future in gaming on a lot of games, especially like sports games, fighting games, even racers. I think this is in certain shooters. I think this is the future.
So
hold on. I'm sorry, Don. One second. Do people not realize when it comes to crossplay, cross progression, and stuff like that? I mean, we're talking multiplats here. Now, with doing that, first off, it's not going to take away any sales if you have an obsession with a preferred piece of plastic. All it's going to do is throw the focus into the exclusives on why you get that hardware. All right. So when it comes to Fortnite or something like that, like say Fortnite, for instance, with PlayStation and Xbox, like you're like, well, man, I can bring my stuff over no matter what console I have and still play it on my Switch or on my mobile. So what do they have like that's left for me to consider? And then it goes to their exclusives like the Halos, the Gears, the God of War, and all that good stuff, and then it makes more of a focus for the first party exclusives, which I don't know, from what I've been hearing lately, those mean so much. So why not have it to the point where you got cross play, cross progression when it comes to the multiplats, and put that focus into the first party exclusives like that? Does that
I
make
don't
sense?
know. I mean, I agree with you. I think, look, it's gonna come, like you said, it's gonna come down to the multiplats is gonna want to go this route.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What it is with the consumer, a consumer might want to play on their PlayStation 4 controller more than they want to play on the Xbox controller. So they're still going to buy a PlayStation 4. They just want to play against Xbox gamers. I mean, it's just one of those things, or Nintendo players. I don't think that it's going to alleviate or stop sales of a console. Like you said, I think it's just more of it's fan service. It's what gamers has been asking for generations.
That's the whole thing.
It's not hurting anything.
Exactly.
This is just Sony just being anti-consumer.
Where is Dark on this, man? I haven't heard him chime in at all and come in with this angry otterness and say how he feels.
I think it's tried, but his internet's bad.
All right, I got you. I mean, we did start by talking about Minecraft with Nintendo kind of jumping in there, with Xbox and tweeting out to them, kind of like really throwing it out there about crossplay. I feel that when it comes to crossplay, because the Switch is basically a handheld, that Nintendo has so much to gain from doing crossplay like this, and I feel that is one of their main reasons why they're going out into social media and kind of like really stirring that pot more and more. Does anybody see that as well, or
I can see that, but I mean, like a lot of the games that this is just one game. I mean, like holler at me when we start getting,
Well,
like
Minecraft is a huge game though. Fortnite
yeah, I mean, like,
it's a huge game though.
Okay, 2 games, right? But talk to me. When
you have soccer cars too, so I mean, it's violent enough.
Soccer cars, Paladins as well, I believe.
Yeah, Paladins has got on there too.
So there's like a small library of games that can do this, and I think it's only going to get bigger. But like I said, Nintendo with their kind of like what people call quote unquote hybrid console, which guys, it's a handheld that you plug into your TV if you want to. They have
Switch hater.
They have the most to gain from that. What do you think, Dark?
I think both companies are gaining a lot from it, Microsoft and Nintendo. The whole thing about, Sony not allowing crossplay, I get why they're not going to allow them to play with other people like on Xbox or on Switch, but they should allow the account to be utilized on every system, no matter what. I mean, especially since
cross progression then?
Right, especially since PlayStation doesn't own those accounts because Epic, that's an Epic account. Like I don't get why like PlayStation isn't allowing them to do this.
It's a license agreement on their platform. So it's how it's written on their platform. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm just telling you that's the reasoning behind it. That's why it's like the way it is right now.
Right, I get that, but I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, aren't
I'm pretty sure that's going to change going forward, though. Like,
well,
but that's
Go ahead. Sorry, you okay?
I mean, that's basically like it's basically like saying, hey, you can't use your account on anything except for PlayStation. So this is the game that you have to play it here. You can't play it anywhere else. It's basically like, kind of saying like you're trapped here. You're imprisoned in PlayStation.
But that's the way it traditionally. Let's be real here. That's the way it traditionally was, though.
Right. No,
so
yeah,
why isn't Microsoft
or
or Nintendo holding that candle up too? Then, right? Why is Sony the only one enforcing it?
Well,
because Sony is.
That's a hypothetical question. You don't have to answer that.
No, let him answer. He's got an answer. Let him answer. Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think it's a lot has to do with that they're on top right now.
They're
and
dinosaurs,
a lot of it,
man.
But that too, they're dinosaurs. They don't look at the bigger picture. But at the same time, you got to think about it. They've sold. They're a very Japanese company. So in Japan, what is running Japan basically in the gaming sense? It's PlayStation. And somewhat of it is Nintendo as well, because a lot of people like to use their Switches as well. But I don't really know if those people or if anybody in Japan is really playing Fortnite. I think it's a lot of people here in the U.S. and a lot of people in different other countries. I don't really know if anybody in Japan is playing that game.
All right, yo, Dark, check this out. Thumbs in the chat, man. He has been very vocal on this subject. Huge shout out to the chat. You guys are going in right now and really giving your opinions as well. I really do appreciate it. But Thumbs, he was like putting console shit aside. He was like, this is a ball that just started rolling downhill. When it gains steam, how you feel about playing Call of Duty against keyboard and mouse? He was like, look at the bigger picture. And I know, me personally, when it comes to crossplay between Xbox and PC, that's one of the things I am watching like a hawk right now, because I feel like they need to have options to shut that off in terms of playing against...
Well, I think they need to balance their games. That's the real answer, right? Because that's the cop-out answer. Shut it off. No, the real answer is make it so it's balanced between the platforms.
It's hard to balance between like hardware that can react quicker.
But the reality is, it can be done.
Well, they need to hire you, Don, because nobody else seems to know how.
No, they know how. The thing is the public perception is different from the reality of what can be done, right?
Uh-huh.
And so everyone's always going to overreact to the fact that, or there's mouse, or this, or that, and there are workarounds and stuff like that. From they always have to fight the PC guys from doing that, but that comes to the developer managing their game properly, right? So if crossplay doesn't work for their game, it doesn't work for their game. If they're going to challenge it, it is up to the developer to create a balanced game between all platforms if you are going to play it. So the real question should be addressed is not so much, I'm afraid of crossplay between other platforms. How are you going to balance it? I want to have that conversation between gamers and developers. That's the conversation that needs to happen there, because that's the root of the problem. And if you're going to do this, how are you going to fix it? Well, how are you going to make it work?
I'm going to say that, me personally, I don't know how they're going to balance it to the point where keyboard and mouse and controller can be on an equal level. But I do want to hear what Dark's response to this as well, because like Thumb says, look at the bigger picture here. If we all cheer for this, then he says that is inevitably like down the road as well. Playing Call of Duty against people with keyboard and mouse or whatnot. So how do you feel about that, Dark?
Honestly, I think it should be just between consoles. I don't think it should be PC. PC is just on its own other little plane anyways.
Once they controller locked it.
Well, I mean, if they did that, then that would be okay. I mean, it's just the mouse and keyboard thing. A lot of people can have a better response time when they have a mouse and keyboard in their hands. Me personally, I don't have that type of reflex. I'm more of a controller type of person. I can pick up a controller and be fine, but mouse and keyboard has always just been kind of that like, what do I do here? So I mean, yeah, I definitely don't think the whole mouse and keyboard thing would work, but I think if they did lock it with just a controller, it would probably be fine, but I still think there would still be, because there's a lot of people who use, certain things to be able to gain an advantage, so they would have to, kind of figure out a way to stop that from happening.
Bots and stuff like that?
I'm talking about bots. I'm talking about
People
cheating.
hate bots.
I'm talking about especially aim bots. Aim bots are the biggest thing in PC, and people love using them. I mean, I've seen
most of those mouse guys that say they have quicker reflexes. Most of the time, they just have bots, right?
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
so they're gonna have to fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anyone really wants that, to be honest with you.
All right, well,
that should be defaults completely.
Let me get back to this Nintendo thing. And I'm gonna talk to K Mega, because I believe K Mega. It was a while back when Xbox they were praising Nintendo for Zelda. And they were going out and tweeting about, stuff that was relating to Nintendo, even stuff that was relating to Sony. They were really putting themselves out there and showing that they are a part of the gaming community as much as they are, Xbox executives and stuff like that. And now, Mega, correct me if I'm wrong. You were one of the people that was really going out there saying that they really had to focus in-house. Like, I believe Halo Wars 2 was one of them, and that I 100% agree with you that they completely under-advertised that when it came to social media. But, Mega, now looking back at this, do you think that, it was actually a good thing? Because I feel that doing all that they did, putting themselves out there in terms of enjoying games and putting Zelda and Switch out there and talking about that stuff, is what really helped kind of like warm up the conversation between Xbox and Nintendo, and is one of the reasons why Nintendo in return is now out on social media, talking about it's them and Xbox as well. What do you think, man? Do you think it was a good thing back then now?
Well, no. The one thing that I always said about that was that, look, I have no problem with them giving Nintendo praise, giving PlayStation praise regardless, but when you had a game that was good as Halo Wars 2, you have
They
to
completely under advertise that, man.
Yeah, you have to advertise that game just as much as you advertise for the competition. I had no problem with them just giving props. I know that others did, and they were like, you shouldn't even give them the competition any type of props or whatever because they don't give you props. But it was to me, it was just because of the game. You had a little bit of advertising, but you didn't go out and advertise that game to the fullest. That was the biggest problem. So for now, for a lot of people that were bringing up the issue that they shouldn't have done it, that Xbox was given all the love because they were already working on this and they're going to continue to work on this. And I don't even know what else that they have in store, but I'm sure that there's going to be some collaborations of characters, things like that between Nintendo and Xbox. But it was
a good thing, man.
Yeah, it was a good thing all around. It was a good thing all around. And now that you see, and that's why I say that if you look, go back to last year, Nintendo now was throwing the most shade at the competition. You know what I'm saying? Because Xbox just is not going to do it. And to me, that was kind of odd because Nintendo isn't like that. Nintendo don't do that. But it seems like the relationship is good. Phil has been doing a fantastic job. I know so many people were over here scrutinizing him, saying that he wasn't doing enough, that he wasn't doing this, he wasn't doing that. I think now that we're starting to see, while Xbox is beginning to roll after E3 and we're hearing more and more good things coming down the line, I think that Xbox is on a plateau right now that
I think it's rising. Yeah. It's more like an elevator than a plateau, man.
Right. There's going to be still a couple of hiccups, I think, down the line. I mean, when Spider-Man comes and when they bring up MPDs and sales and of that stuff, that Xbox will still get scrutinized on that. But to the degree that where Xbox was getting scrutinized for the last couple of years for what they've done, I think that's done. I think that's it's on the way out now. I think that now we can only go up now.
I like what Dead Rising Ninja is saying in the chat. He's like, maybe Microsoft was playing chess here. Kind of like let that one pawn get taken in order to really kind of get the queen in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Right. And
like I said, it's about being patient. So everybody, so many YouTubers and gamers are so impatient. They got to have it right now. We got to have the information right now. And
that entitlement, man.
Yeah. It's that thought. It just goes back to the E3 this year. Everybody is excited about this E3 because you know why? Nobody didn't know shit about this E3. And that but everybody, if they knew what was going on, then it would be getting scrutinized. Well, I already knew about this. This wasn't good enough. So that's what I'm saying. If sometimes we don't need to know everything. It's just like like some old timers would tell me about how women used to dress back. Give me a little bit of imagination. Don't wear something that I could see everything, and then I know what the goods look like.
With 3 tea leaves.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Give me a little bit of something that I can work with to get me excited about it. So I think what Microsoft did, they played chess on this.
Nice. Hey Predator, you heard what I asked K Mega. That whole kind of kumbaya thing that a lot of people in the gaming community, they were getting really pissed off with Xbox about, saying that they need to focus on their platform. They have work to do. I feel that was all leading up to what we're seeing now in terms of the cross-play, cross-progression, kind of like the business relationship between Nintendo and Microsoft. What do you think about that, man? Do you think that could be true? Predator.
Wait for it.
Predator. Are you muted, sir?
I was muted.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Guys, he's still here.
I heard your question though. I had to go piss, man. I don't want to do it on the mic like your boy Ken Mega did earlier. I think you're, in a sense, yes and no. I think part of that is just Phil being Phil. I think he's just a nice guy, and that's how he is. That's his demeanor. He wants everybody to play together and be happy together and hug and sing songs and chase rainbows and shit. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I think because of that, we're getting what we're getting now. I don't think it was planned. I just think that Phil's just that type of person. I remember listening to one of the, I don't know if it was a Polygon article or video, whatever they had right after E3, and he was talking like, yeah, I'm going to meet with the Nintendo guys right after this is done, and because he was saying like, because we have a game on their platform, and I have to talk to these guys because we're a third party for them in a sense. So
yeah.
And so he was like he meets with them. He has lunches and dinners and stuff with these guys too. So, that relationship has fostered what we're getting now with Microsoft and Nintendo through Minecraft, where it started at, and now through Fortnite. And I expect it to continue on in the future with other games and maybe having, characters appear on, like I think we get Mario on Minecraft now, don't we, on the Xbox side, or no? That's like a skin or something like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, on Minecraft, I think.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like that's a start. Like you can't actually make a step forward until you actually, take that first step. You actually have to put your foot forward first to make,
Yeah, that first step's usually the biggest, but then everything's easier kind of like after that. Yeah.
So, I mean, and right now, Reggie over at Nintendo and Phil over in Microsoft, they want to play together. They want to kind of work forward, towards the future of gaming and make it more compatible for us consumers out there, where it's not going to be a price gouge for us to play games on every single fucking platform. Because, especially think about it this way. All right, I can download the same app on an Apple and the same app on a Android, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you can do that like now, and it works in other areas. Why can't it work in gaming too? I don't understand why that's such an issue. Like, I mean, I see where it came from in the beginning with the older, regiment we had in the past, where it was all about money and all about this and that. But this is a different regime.
It's still about money, man. Don't get it.
Oh, I know it is, but I think with Microsoft, in their sense, like they make money other ways. Like people just tend to look at the Xbox as the gaming division, and that's it. And they don't encompass the actual division of gaming, which involves cloud, involves all the purchases they've made before. Xbox is part of that, whereas with Sony, their gaming division is just basically the PlayStation 4. They don't buy up studios like that all the time. They're not buying up cloud tech that I see anyway. I actually haven't looked yet, but you don't hear about that kind of stuff from them. But Microsoft is always seems like they're always trying to gather up resources for the gaming division and stuff like that. So they make their money other ways. Whereas even though PlayStation sells a shitload of consoles, Microsoft is making money other ways.
Microsoft kind of like software and middleware to get.
Yeah, and I think that like Don was saying earlier, they kind of do that between both companies anyway. You don't really hear about those little smaller things like the middleware stuff like that. But Microsoft, it looks like they purchase a lot of stuff for gaming and do a lot of stuff, to build up the gaming division, which involves Xbox. It isn't just Xbox and their studios. It's all the studios, Xbox, and all the other stuff they've purchased in the past, like PlayFab and stuff like that. So they're trying to build an empire of gaming, not just focus on the console itself, which is what I think is what is really smart for them.
Yeah.
Going forward.
It's helping expand exactly where gaming is going into the future as well, and they're positioning themselves to be kind of like one of those pillars that's bringing it to fruition, for what I'm saying, being kind of like the pioneers that really started doing this stuff in the beginning.
Yeah. But as far as the whole Fortnite thing, I think or like the whole Nintendo thing coming along, I love it. The Kumbaya thing we were doing in the past is paying dividends now. So
yes, nice. And I don't know. With that being said, I believe Sony tried to come out with an answer, or at least there was a leak of a possible response here. And this, I believe it's a leak. It's a PlayStation 4 Fortnite bundle. And guys in the chat, people on the panel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was only a leak. There was nothing like officially announced. But in this bundle, I believe they're stating somehow that they are bundling Fortnite Battle Royale, an exclusive skin, when you buy this bundle PlayStation 4. Predator, man, you ended it. I'm gonna have you start this. What do you think about this? Is this a proper kind of like response going on here? Do you think it is a response? And how the hell are you gonna bundle a free to play?
we Mega and them were talking about this last night on GRG, and I was listening to this. I'm like, what the? So I went and I Googled it, right? And I looked and I saw it was in Australia, I believe, is where it was leaked at. But I looked online. I'm like, because they were talking about it on GRG, like how much does a game, like the actual physical copy of the game cost, right? And I thought it was like $30 or $40 or something like that. On Amazon, you can buy a used copy of the physical disc of this game for like almost $200. So I'm like, wow. And I think it kind of shocked look on Amazon. I posted on Twitter late last night too. Like the physical copies of Fortnite, the actual whole game, like they're selling it for like 150,
even,
250.
Even the Save the World is going free to play by the end of this year.
Exactly. But people don't know that because they think
crap. Yo,
think like,
snaps, we gotta go get a copy of that.
I know. That was the first thing I did was like, let me see if I can find me a disc. Like. But I'm like, that's crazy. Like people would like how people are so unaware about certain things like this, and they're like, because some idiot is buying that and not knowing that they can. And the thing is, you could probably get it from like the PlayStation Store, the physical copy. And I know you can get it from the Xbox physical copy for like $50, $40 on the store. But you can buy it on Amazon and other outlets. Like it was sold out. Like Target didn't have it. Like none of the 4 stores that they were on there. Target, I think Amazon.
I didn't know they even had a physical copy.
I didn't either until last night. So like, I mean, it's like, I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, that's just like another like, what the fuck, Sony? What are you trying to like just gouge people for extra shit? Like, because you're not really getting anything. Anything extra other than a fucking skin. I mean, like, so like, what's the cost of the console? Do you remember? Is it the same regular price, or is it up to like $40?
No, I believe it's regular price.
Regular price. Well, you know what they're doing, and this is, I mean, excellent marketing on their part. But
for
somebody had to sign off on this. So like, it's putting the game that's really hot on the shelf with that cover on the box. And people are like, oh, Fortnite, I want that. Just like they did with Batman, just like they did with, Call of Duty, just like they did with Star Wars. It looks good. It's not a custom console, it's the bundle, but you put that on the box. You display that box in the store, and when kids walk in the store, they see Fortnite. I need that console. It's got Fortnite on it. Because you know how they are. They'll like misrepresent it a little bit and like make it seem like it's only on PlayStation 4 and you're getting all this extra shit with it. And most people don't know that the game's gonna be fucking free.
Hold on, you're getting one skin and
it's 500 V-Bucks.
That's not a lot of money, dude. Not at all. Especially when it costs, I believe, 950 V-Bucks just to buy a season that they have. You're
in light of the fact that you can't transfer.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that entrapment though? Like if that happens, are they kind of like
they need to like advertise that on the packaging or something like that?
They're like ensnaring gamers, in my opinion. That's like I'm like, wow, man. That's going above and beyond on kind of like the dirtbag scheme.
That's shady
things,
Sony
man.
Marketing, man. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Don, what do you think about this bundle? And like I said, this is just rumor. I'm not sure if it's actually coming out, but the Fortnite PS4 bundle, dude, after hearing all this, what do you think about this, Don?
I'd be surprised if this one's true, to be honest with you. Epic is just started, is what they told me, as far as all this cross-buy stuff between platforms. This is just the start for them. So this deal may have already been in place regardless of all this sort of stuff to have that one spare skin in the 500 V-Bucks, and most likely that's probably the case. But Epic's not done. They're going to push this even harder going forward. This is just the first part of it. So they're also the middleware provider for most games, right? If you think about the Unreal Engine. So their customer base is all their developers and the people that want to buy the games that run on their engine. So they kind of almost don't care about Sony or Microsoft for that matter. They just care that this benefits them in that sense. So we're just seeing the start. So hold on, guys. This is just round one.
All right, I gotta hear what Adamus says about this, man. He comes in when he gets angry. You know he's angry. I want to see if he's pissed off about possibly ensnaring kind of like gamers into a closed like a closed off section of the Fortnite gaming community with this bundle. Dude, what do you think, Dart?
I saw the bundle and I was all like, that's cool. I mean, you basically what they're doing is selling you a free game. Like, like it doesn't make any sense. Like you don't have to do this bundle. This bundle doesn't make any sense at all.
Just wait till the end of the year for Save the World, and you're good.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mean, yeah, you could wait till the end of the year, which is not that long from now. So, I mean, might as well just wait until then to get the rest of the game for free. Like, I just don't understand their logic behind this bundle. This is the most dumb bundle I've ever seen in my entire freaking life. Like, I honestly, when I saw that photo that I think it was in the DM. I can't remember who posted it, but I was just like, "What in the hell is PlayStation doing? I don't get it. I'm confused. Like it's a bundle for a free game that you can download on PSN.
But hold on.
Like,
you get a skin though. You get an exclusive skin
Oh,
that you won't be able
boy.
to use on the Switch or mobile or anything like that.
Oh,
you can
man.
enjoy it on your PS4 and that's it.
Is it like exclusive skin in the sense it's the same skin that you can get on the other platforms, but it's a different color?
Actually, I'm not too sure about that. I don't get into Fortnite like that, and so this is, when it comes down to it, I don't have to be into a game. When these companies come out and they do something that I look at it and I'm like, damn, that's shady. I'm going to talk about it, whether or not I played the game or not. And I feel like we need to do that, to get the information out there to the gaming community. I'm not sure if it's just a repainted skin that can be available across other platforms as well. That is a good question.
Yeah, I feel like this is very just something that's just shady. I think they're just trying to say, hey, yeah, if you want to play Fortnite on our console, we'll give you a free skin and give you this bundle, and it's like, okay, I don't see the appeal to it. I mean, anybody who buys it, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe you bought that. I'm just gonna be like, okay, yeah. I mean, you must be really into Fortnite. I mean, I don't care about Fortnite. I don't care about PUBG either. But that's another story. I don't like Battle Royale.
These deals go way in advance. Like, so I don't think they're a reactionary thing at all.
No,
to
it's
be honest
not.
with you.
It's not. It's
It can't
definitely not.
If you really, really think about it.
Yeah, it's definitely not a reaction
hold
to.
on, but check this out.
What's going on.
If Sony was approached in advance about cross progression, cross platform play, and they turned it down, if by some rhyme or reason within that discussion they're like, well, Nintendo's down with it and so is Xbox, so we would have Nintendo, Xbox, PC, mobile, and we're hoping PlayStation as well, and they're like, no, they already knew it was coming, so they'd be like, no, but hey, let's do a bundle or something like that.
But it's not like one of those things. They didn't expect. I don't think they expect the shitstorm that hit them, right? Like amongst the community that's backlash against them.
That's a good point, yeah.
You can't predict that, right? You can't, because you don't know how the public's going to react. Like a lot of people have liked negative things that Sony has done on their platform. So I think a lot of their decision making is based on how their player base has reacted up to this point, in regards to that. So I don't think they thought it was as big of a deal, and I don't think anybody would have honestly predicted this sort of outlash.
All right, well,
in regards to it, right?
Yeah, well, check this out. Well, since they were doing these deals ahead of time, and Sony opted to go in this direction, said no to the other stuff. I'm going to go to K-Mega here, and anybody else after K-Mega answers can chime in on this as well. Since they pre-planned this, and it doesn't seem to look good for Sony going into the future. I know they've sold so many consoles now, and they got the holy grail of gaming this gen with God of War and all this good stuff. But Mega, do you see signs that the more traditional way of doing business here, and kind of like those dinosaur tactics that Sony is using, do you see this catching up to them and catching up to them kind of like fairly soon, kind of giving them a huge bite in the ass, even more than this whole Fortnite thing, man? And you might be muted. That would be number 2 on the muted. Let's see here.
Oh, my bad. My
yep,
bad.
He was muted.
I was muted. Okay. I was saying, let me just say this. Where's Don Matrick?
Retired. He's nowhere right now, man.
He's forced retired, right?
Right. And where did Sony take their ideas for the PlayStation 4 for the beginning of this generation?
The 360 era.
Right. So, again, it's telling you that these methods, even though they worked to perfection for Sony in the beginning of this generation, towards the end of this generation, gamers becoming more wiser. They're doing more research. YouTubers, they're listening to more YouTubers. They're listening to a whole bunch of different people other than just the gaming media. They're starting to understand what's, they're starting to understand a little bit more. This was a casual grab all up and down. When you go into GameStop and you see Fortnite PlayStation 4 bundle and you don't see that with Xbox or Nintendo, then that's going to definitely get there. But the issue with that is that crossplay thing is out there, and you're going to have that first PlayStation fan that really isn't paying attention that much, or the casual, they'll come out there and they'll want to do crossplay with a Switch friend or with an Xbox friend,
or they'll want to bring their mobile character or their Switch character over
to mobile or whatever,
or PS4.
Right, and they want to do that, and they realize they can't do that. Then that's when it's all going to fall to shit. So it's one of those things where like Sony has been working on a lot of smoke and mirrors, and I've been saying this, and I get ridiculed about it so much, but there's a reasoning when these big companies, when they go through change with their, with upper management. We've seen this with Xbox. Xbox had to go through a lot of woes this generation because of upper management, a lot of changing, a lot of people that had to come in and out, a lot of placement. And now we're seeing PlayStation Sony going through the same thing with PlayStation. Look, it's a big loss to lose Andrew House. It's a big loss to lose Adam Boyes. It's a big loss to see the former CEO walk away. And you know what? And you still have Yoshida, and you got the other Yoshida that's taken over. But the fact of it is that it's a problem when you see a Jack Tretton walk away. And Sony is going to go through the same issues that Microsoft went through because these people are being placed and they got to fill in these spots. They may already have people that already dialed in, but they have a different agenda. And PlayStation is probably going to look a little bit different than what they're used to looking at. So, I mean, this is just what this is. And I understand what Don was saying, that this is something that was probably already set in stone years ago. But PlayStation could have pulled the plug on this and say, no, we don't want to do this right now.
But months ago.
Years ago. Well, I was going back.
Back in 2011, they decided.
Before Fortnite came out.
When I say years ago, I'm saying more like probably 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Fortnite's been out for what, 2 years now?
No, it's been a year, right?
I thought, well, I'm talking about in development. They already know that the game is in
development, but that's a whole other story, right?
Right. Well, okay, so let me just say, okay, months ago, they knew it months ago about what, they made this deal probably months ago, but they could have pulled the plug on this because of the backlash that they're getting. But Sony has this attitude right now that nothing that they've got the Midas touch, and it's been working for them for the longest time because so many people have been saying that this is anti-consumer, or this is weird, this is not cool, this is a lie, whatever, and it's not stick to them. But now this is sticking to them, and here we go with the snowball effect. In my opinion,
it shocks me that this is the thing that's sticking.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, that's the thing I can't figure out. Like, I would never have guessed this is going to be the thing that people got outraged about.
Right.
I mean, I want it, but I'm not outraged about it, right?
I could think of a million other things people could have been pissed off about besides this one.
Yeah. So
right.
this what this kind of shows is like maybe it's a straw that broke the camel's back, right? I think a lot of times there's things that people weren't 100% happy with, right?
But they went along.
They went along with it, and they're like, well, it's not that big of a deal, The problem with that, and eventually you do something that just pisses off everybody, and it just pushes.
I know people. This. I definitely know this. Yeah.
From being married.
but like this happens to EA every once in a while, right? Like with certain decisions they make. Sometimes it's not just the. But it's not even that. Like before that, at the beginning of this generation, there's some sort of thing where the maps were locked to your game disc, or I forgot what that was called at the time. But regardless, there's always something that eventually they push, and then it breaks the fan base, and then they just they lose it. And I just so surprised this is the thing that really pushed them over the edge, to be honest with you.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say, when it comes down to it, I would have never have predicted something like this happening and having such a large effect, but it is. And you're talking about people going crazy and stuff like that. That actually leads me into our next topic, which is if you have been on Twitter this week, there's been a certain doll out there that everybody is tweeting about, and there's a lot of those extremists that when they don't agree with a certain Xbox gamer or an Xbox player tweeting about stuff, they're like, hey, why not go get your doll or whatever? And that reason is there's a doll called the American Girl, and I believe Xbox has struck some type of partnership where they are releasing Xbox accessories for this doll. Now it comes with a gaming chair, a headset, and a smaller Xbox One S. It's the white Xbox, and it has a little projection thing that you can project kind of like a few pictures that look like a game onto the screen, and it's an accessory for this American Girl doll. And people are going absolutely apeshit over this. Like I said, the fanatics are like, yo, you're an Xbox gamer, you need to go get your doll and everything like that. I look at this like, wow, they are spreading out their demographic, and they're trying to reach out and put the name Xbox into more homes that it wouldn't necessarily be in. And they are kind of like catering to that evolving girl gamer out there. The younger girl that's just starting to get into games, still playing with dolls and stuff like that, and they're combining those two together, which I think is a great idea in terms of marketing, in terms of growth or whatnot. And to me, I think it's a place that really hasn't been explored by other companies. But of course, they are getting this huge backlash out there. Don, what do you think about this whole thing? Like when it comes to the American Girl getting the Xbox accessories and kind of like the community reaction? Do you think it was a good idea for Xbox to go this route? Do you really care? And
it comes off as reaching the people that use this as a talking point, to be honest with you. It's just cross marketing. It's for a different demographic that doesn't even apply to me or any of the people I interact with on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with that. This doesn't mean I'm not going to get my Halo, right? This doesn't mean I'm not going to get Gears and chainsaw monsters in half, right? Like, it doesn't mean any of that sort of stuff. Reaching out to a wider audience is what Microsoft is said publicly, and this is just one little thing they do. Is this cross marketing? It happens within the industry all the time. Matter of fact, most of the time this stuff doesn't even get noticed. I mean, this Sony does it all the time with other stuff. Same thing with Microsoft. But for whatever reason, I think it was an Xbox exec that tweeted this particular cross marketing, and then the anti-Xbox fan base kind of hopped on it. But at that point, it just comes off as reaching, right? Like, there's people that are fathers that have daughters that want them to get them into gaming and stuff like that, and just it's a way to bring those people together, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And here's the thing: when it comes to the gaming community, ever since we went online and we were given headsets and all this good stuff, there's been a certain, I guess you could say, stigma about gamers when they go online, being chauvinistic, kind of like attacking girl gamers, like when you're playing, let's say, like Call of Duty or something like that. Like, does this show that we haven't really grown that far from that?
I think the problem is you have gamers that act out like this, and it gives gamers a bad,
is it giving us a bad name right now?
A bad light, right? But the harsh reality is that's not the general populace of gaming. I've just seen so much like numbers of other things behind the scenes. I just can't believe that this is the majority of the people and the way they think and how they act and stuff like that. The industry in general it's never been like, let's stop a certain segment of people from being developers. It's like it's always been kind of an inclusive thing, like, hey, like, why are you not evolved? Just tell us. Just let us know, right? Like, we don't get it. It's more of a, trying to understand that sort of thing. So, I think gamers are, and I think majority of people just in general are not like this, right? It's just certain people that they have their insecurities, and this is the area where they feel brave and they feel supported and by other people that have that kind of narrow mindset, and just that's where it all kind of comes from. So, it is a thing in the public, but it shouldn't stop Sony or Nintendo or Microsoft from cross promoting with these sort of things for other particular customers that may want to buy their product down the road.
I was just gonna say, shout out again to the chat. I think So Shady, when it comes down to it, might have the response of this show. He was like, all this doll has really done is expose the people in the community that are immature trolls that would rather poke stupid fun at others instead of enjoying the shit that they claim to. And I gotta say, that to me, in my opinion, that's spot on right there.
Well, here's the thing: is those people have less and less of a voice, right? Like, think about it. Like, if you look at the latest State of Decay, right? Well, everyone that's trolled that game, obviously they failed. even the media, like, even their opinion doesn't even matter, right? So, like, if you really look at it, I think the gig's up. I think gamers realize it, and they don't really care. And they moved forward. I mean, it's really kind of a no big deal. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Like, when I get a collector's edition of Halo and I have a Master Chief statue, I have a freaking doll. Yeah. Like, let's just be honest. That's what it is, right? Or when you get any collector's edition and they have some sort of statue, it's an overglorified doll.
It's a quote-unquote action figure, man.
Yeah, exactly. You get what I'm saying. Like,
I know.
you know what I mean? Like, let's be adults about it. Like, and let's, it's no big deal. Like, I don't get you. I mean, I don't. Here's the thing. I watch the bickering back and forth, but I try not to get involved in a lot of that sort of stuff. And yeah, like, to everybody else that's not involved but sees you guys, like, what do you really think you look like when you do that stuff? Like, I'll let you guys judge for yourself and, think about it.
You're not showing your maturity level, or maybe you are. You're not showing intelligence. You're not showing about being a part of, like, kind of like this generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a really kind of like old school way of thinking that a lot of people have already deemed completely unnecessary and completely inaccurate. K-Mega, I heard you kind of chime in a little bit. What do you think about this? We're probably going to hit this topic really quickly because I do want to talk about State of Decay and kind of like an interesting aspect in terms of sales. But what do you think about this whole situation with American Girl, man?
Well, I mean, it's just something like what Don said, but it's something that I alluded to last week, coming back from E3. It's once you go out there and you come back here, you realize how small and minute the fringe is.
It changes your perspective.
It changes your perspective completely. Like you see so much of the hate. Like you go on Facebook and you go in here, you go on Twitter, every Reddit, you just like, damn, like it's everywhere. But once you come to E3 and then you come back and then you've seen how small and petty and how these people that come out here, that this is their life. It's not the true gamer's life. And so when you come and talk about a doll, more so than talking about the own games that you claim to love more than anything, then that just shows that you're not really the true gamer that you claim to be. You just want to be a person that want to get attention. I want to give a big shout out to the GWG crew, the ladies. They brought this point up, and they hit it perfectly by saying that, look, as females, they wish that they had the opportunity for their parents to give them a doll because they were all gamers. They didn't just jump out and just all of a sudden, oh, well, YouTube is here, and then we decided to want to be gamers. They've been lifelong gamers just like us. And if they were some kind of inclusion to them to show that there was a action figure or a doll to show that, hey, women are just as important into gaming just like men, they would love to have this doll. So what they would do is that they're saying, look, they're going to give it to their kids. You know what I'm saying? So the thing of it, the only thing was like, look, they're all black women most likely. So they're like, hey, look, let's get a little bit more color in the doll. But other than that, like, but I mean,
well, they're accessories. They're not part of the doll. You can pick out any doll and then have the accessories.
Good point, Dark.
Good part,
knows his dolls, man.
Good job. We know you know your dolls. Good job. Anyway, so no, but that wasn't even like a discredit to the doll. They were all in support of it, and that is one of the things. Like, look, guys, female gamers are a huge demographic in gaming now, and. And matter of fact, in certain shooters out there, females actually are the majority. The majority in these certain games.
They're at least
Overwatch. They're deep.
Warframe.
There's more women developers that made Warframe than there were men. And so that was kind of crazy when I heard that, when I seen that stat. So again, I think that including female gamers into this and having a doll, that just shows that Microsoft is getting it. And for these fools out here that keeps opening their mouths and saying dumb shit and pointing that towards men, then that shows that you may be homophobic. And you know that there's homosexuals out there playing games with you. You know what I'm saying? So why are you being? You sound like a fool more than you sound like a true gamer.
Well, I mean, you're a father, right? Okay, Megan.
I got a son and a daughter. Yeah,
you have a daughter, right? Like,
right.
I mean, doesn't this like strike home a little bit for you being a father with a daughter? I know she's like, I think she's older, right? She's 19. She's not at this age, but it'd be kind of different, right? If she was younger and this came out. I mean, would you pick it up for your daughter or something along those lines?
Absolutely, I would definitely play it because she's played games. I mean, she's not a gamer like my son was, but like her dad is. But she jumps on a game every once in a while. Want to try to beat me up in Tekken or something like that, But it's the thing.
She probably did, man. Like,
no, she don't.
Buddy.
She's not on level. My son can't even beat me in Tekken. So anyway,
I believe she can beat you in Tekken.
No. She just beats me down for taking my money.
He's got too much oil on his character, and he kind of slips out the way.
Anyway, stay focused, gentlemen. But the thing of it is, like, I would have, if I seen that this doll and she was 9, 10, I've been all over it, and she would have loved it, and that may have enticed her to be more of a gamer because she would have felt like she was included. So again, what I'm saying, fuck the ignorance. move around. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to this bullshit and you take this more serious than what this is really is, then you the fool. You know what I'm saying? You the fool for taking it on.
It's not an attack on what you like though about gaming as a guy. Like that's the thing people need to realize. Like this is not taking away from things that you enjoy.
Right.
All right, yo, check this out.
The ball playing some money. Come on, man.
I was gonna say, K Mega, Frankie Capone. First off, huge shout out. Thank you for hitting up that super chat. He says, "Hey Mega, whenever you need practice in Madden, hit him up. Can't have you looking that bad again, brother."
Okay, yeah, no, real talk. Let's just say this. Look, man, that was my worst game loss in Madden ever. I lost to Baron. He's a Nintendo dude. He talks a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was just
backs it up, obviously.
Huh?
Backs it up, obviously.
No, he did me dirty. Look, I mean, that was
Mega. Just own it. Just own it.
I did. I said, but he didn't play. He didn't play on the regular settings. He played on something totally different. But I brought it up. I'm the one that brought it up. I was having
giving it too much weight, man. You just giving too much weight.
Right,
just move
I
on.
lost. I got my ass whooped. So I mean, I'll play him again.
Stop right there.
Yo, Frankie, I really appreciate the super chat. Definitely.
We can
do
do
you
it.
see what you just started, man?
We can do it.
But definitely hit up Frankie, man, because from what I'm hearing, you definitely need the practice. I'm just saying. But on that note, does anybody else want to chime in on this? I think we did cover it. I know Predator, Dark, if there's anything else you want to say on this.
I covered it already.
All right.
On TSGP, so.
All right, because I do want to get into the State of Decay thing. So, Pred, is there anything you want to say? Or you want to move on, man?
No, let's move on.
All right, let's do this. State of Decay 2. For people out there who love tracking sales, the NPDs, State of Decay 2 came out on top, of course, United States-wise, beating out such titles as the Holy Grail of gaming itself, God of War, and Detroit Become Human, which if you go on Twitter and you look up hashtag Detroit Become Human, you will see nothing but praise for that game. You guys know how I feel about that game in terms of, like, if I would ever really get into that. But to me, this was really interesting. I'm not usually into sales. And I'll say even after this, I'm not really into sales. But with this game being in Game Pass, with this game being a $40 title, a $40 title, with this game getting such mediocre reviews when it was released, seeing it do so well, it's really interesting to me. I know a lot of people talk, when it came to Game Pass, that, games weren't going to sell. People were just going to spend the $10, try it out, and then that was it. Game Pass isn't going to do anything, but it seems that Game Pass is really promoting games to the point where people are buying the games afterwards. I mean, it's not even State of Decay 2, but Sea of Thieves has sold incredibly well as well. So, let's hit up Dark here real quick. Dark, what do you think about this news with State of Decay? Do you look into software sales? Do you look into like how titles are doing, sales wise, and with everything that was put up against State of Decay, like what do you think about this title, and what does it mean for the future of the franchise, man?
It's a good thing. I don't really ever really look into sales of games. It's only because I just like playing them. I don't and talking about them. I don't really care if a game sells or not. Honestly, to see that that it beat out God of War and it beat out Detroit Become Human, that's great. It's fine and dandy, but we got to realize, like, God of War came out 2 months ago. And it's a single player game. It doesn't really have the longevity that something like State of Decay does with its co-op and its multiplayer type of feeling to it. And then you got to look at Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human is not an everyman's type of game. It's definitely a niche title. I mean, yes, I love the game. I like that kind of.
I have a question. Is this niche as Forza?
Dude, it's more niche than Forza. I
Okay.
mean, it's just it's definitely that kind of game that just, it's not gonna appeal to everybody. So it didn't really surprise me that State of Decay 2 outbeat both of these games. I mean, God of War's been out for a while. Everybody who wanted to play God of War has played it already. Like it just makes sense. And then I heard about and then I saw Tropical Freeze. Somebody talking about Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and I was like, well, you got to think about it. That game came out on the Wii U. This is just a ported game. Like, there's a lot of people who probably already bought it. Like, it's just it's that game that the State of Decay 2. Plus, it was a cheaper game too. We got to look at that factor. It was a cheaper game.
NPD is rated by revenue.
Right.
Quoting
but
crap.
I mean,
so that's insane right there. And see, there's something I want to address, Dark, because a lot of people are saying this. A lot of people are like, well, God of War. I believe God of War came out last month, right? And Detroit. When did Detroit Become Human? When was its release date? Does anybody know offhand?
A couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was May 10th,
right.
I think.
All right, so you're going up against $60 titles, right? You got a game that's pretty basically, just a little over half price of that. All right, and they're dealing with revenue, so it outsold both of them. Now, when it comes to God of War, you said everybody picked it up and everybody played that wanted to, but here's another thing. It's called the Holy Grail of gaming. People were giving it 10 out of 10s. You look at the install base when it comes to the PlayStation. Like I said, I don't really focus on sales, but this is a very interesting topic to me because of everything that was stacked against State of Decay 2 to see it come out like this.
All it really shows is that zombies people still want to kick ass and take names with zombies, like that's really what it shows. God of War, it's a masterpiece. It's a gem. I mean, definitely something that you want to buy on PlayStation. But there are a lot of people who still enjoy killing zombies. They still enjoy hopping into a game with their friends and doing something like that. And it's kind of like, the game, granted, yes, this is a bigger thing because of the fact that the game got, really crap reviews. People hated it. There was people even, in podcasts who were saying, this game is trash because the co-op doesn't work very well. But it goes to show you that you were wrong. You were wrong. You were wrong. And, the NPD is saying, hey, this game sold way more than what I think even Microsoft expected.
It was a surprise,
and I think them acquiring Undead Labs is kind of just bring this game to an even better state than what it is in now.
I think it'll sell more. I think now more people with Xboxes, more people that really get into it that might have skipped out on State of Decay 2 might just buy it just for the fact that it's first party now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So I mean, this is just a good thing all around for, just not only Xbox, but I think really good for Undead Labs. It shows that Undead Labs is a contender in a AAA space of gaming with their indie games. It's just they are a force to be reckoned with.
I just got coffee.
Cut me off just because you got coffee.
I had to. Man. I get excited over my caffeine, dude.
No, I get it. It's fine.
But it's
not. We'll talk about it later, but it's fine.
Oh, I know. I'm in trouble. I'm gonna get grounded or something like that. Yeah. I gotta say, Predator, man. What do you think about this news? Like I said, I don't usually get into this, but even with Dark talking about like God of War and stuff like that, and I believe the chat stated that God of War came out in April, probably the end of April if it did come out in April. Yeah, I'm not even sure. But you look at those big titles, you look at those established franchises, and they usually sell well for a long time. I mean, even I know I can go and talk about like multiplats, like GTA and stuff like that. So for people like, well, the game's been out for a while. I'm looking at it like, well, there's so many million, PlayStation consoles out there in comparison to Xbox, and kind of like our guesstimations of how many Xbox Ones are out there and stuff. Just so much stuff like put up against this title, mediocre reviews, everybody talking about it being glitchy, it's available in Game Pass, people saying that they're just gonna, pay the $10 and play it for a while. Dude, what do you think about this news? Did it catch you off guard? Were you surprised?
It actually did. Had you asked me, last month, where I thought it would fall in the NPDs, I figured it would make it in the top 10, like maybe 7 or 8, somewhere in there. But again, like some of this stuff, there's other factors involved in this, right? So what games came out that month besides Detroit Become Human and that one, so that you factor that in, factor in the fact that Microsoft actually did do some advertising for this game for a change. They had it on there. They had it on their, they had commercials out. They had it out on their weekly, or the monthly, whatever stupid show we watched that we all think sucks. Like all that stuff, and then leading up into E3. So like they put it out there, which what they should have been doing with a lot of their other games in the past too. For it to be number 1, I think was a big surprise. I was not expecting that. But now I look and see what it was up against. You're up against God of War. It had been out for a while. And I think everybody bought God of War when it came out. Like it's still going to stay in the top 10. It'll probably be there next month too. The telltale sign about State of Decay is where it's going to fall next month, because right now it peaked at number 1, and how these games are, especially these Game Pass games, like they may just drop out next month and be like number 10 or number 15 and stuff like that. So it's good that everybody picked it up. And again, these are physical numbers, correct?
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest shock too, because like a lot of people were like, I'm just going to get this on Game Pass. If I don't like it, then whatever.
It's the same for God of War. I don't think PlayStation or Nintendo, or Microsoft reports their digital sales to NPD.
So it was a shock. When I saw it, and I someone tweeted it out, I was like, really? And it was just funny with all the backlash that the game got, that how shitty it ran, and all that kind of stuff.
I heard it got a lot better, man, after the patch, and there's been a couple of them ever since. So,
and that typically happens when you put a fucking patch out. That's what it's there for. But it's one of the things I don't like about reviews. They play an unpatched version of a game, and I know like we've been dealing with this for this whole generation. We get a lot of unpatched games when they release, and they have to come back and fix it, right? So why don't you go back and fix your review, right? Like,
wow.
if your review is basically marking it down because something like it was launched bad, I get it, and maybe the companies need to get it out, maybe something they knew was wrong and it was going to take them some time to fix, but they had a release date, to push it out, right? Instead of delaying it, right? You push your review out that came out 24 to 48 hours before the game released, and they fix a patch on the game a week or 2 into it, right? Why is it such a big deal for you to go back and say, okay, we did a post-patch, review, and this is what we found, and we're going to adjust our score based off of X, Y, and Z, because we marked it down because of these things, and they've been fixed, and so the game is fixed, and we consider this, instead of a 7.2, we're going to give it an 8.1 because they fixed the online multiplayer, whatever. They don't do that. Like they go back and no one actually says anything at all. They just let it ride. This game's a 6, but we don't listen to Metacritic scores, right? We don't pay attention to that stuff. So I'm being sarcastic when I say that. But
well, no, now it seems that, because I don't necessarily like listen to Metacritic. I hear what they say within their reviews, but I always take it with a huge, not even a grain of salt. It's more like a rock or a boulder. You know what I'm saying? I
don't even pay attention to them anymore. I look and see how good it's doing. Because I always root. I root like, oh, let's get an 80, let's get a 90 on this and see what it is. But like, I don't even read the reviews. I just look at the scores and see what the overall score is and see what people are like. It's that one outlier, like, with the Forza, when some dickhead gave it like a fucking 5 or something, right? Everyone else gave it like, those are the ones I read because I want to see what they saw so differently from everybody else, But if everyone's like consistently giving it 7s and 8s, I think that's kind of accurate. accurate thing, right? But then you get that 4 or 5 out of there out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck did this knucklehead see that made this game so shitty that he had to give it a 4? Let me see what his gripes were. And a lot of times, like Mooch said, it's a fucking you problem, right? It's something stupid. Like, I'm not a car driver, you know. I use Uber everywhere. Games, so. Yeah, like I use Uber. I don't like vehicles, and you know, I walk everywhere and ride bicycles, so I don't like this game. And those are the ones I just kind of like cast off, right? But for the most part, like I think with this game, it kind of shows you that people are kind of like, you know, fuck the reviews. I want to play this game because people are talking about it, and I'm seeing it streamed everywhere, and people are saying it's a very decent game, and I can play with my friends, and it's only $10 on Game Pass, or it's free in Game Pass, whatever, for a month if I subscribe to it, and I'm going to try it out, and if I like it, I'll buy it. And some people did that, and that's exactly what Game Pass is for. It's like you get to play this game for a month, and when that month ends, if you really want it, and it hadn't even been a month yet, to be honest with you, but when the month ends and you really want that game, you just buy it, right? So the fact that these people bought the physical copy of the game, and it pushed up these numbers, it's really astonishing to me.
Nice. And I gotta say, yo, Dark, I don't know if you noticed, but our boy Dirty J said he's here for your gameplay, brother. So
thank you so much, dude.
My goodness. I'm not sure if we're gonna have time. It already ran twice. I don't think you're gonna have to come back and watch the show again. But yo, Mega, what do you think about this, dude? Are you as like, dude, when I look at this, like I said, I don't normally get into sales, but when I see I see everything that's been stacked up against this game, you know, review scores, install base, Game Pass, like all that, revenue being only, you know, a little over half price compared to, you know, the games that came in second and third and stuff like that, and still beating that in revenue. To me, I'm like, holy shit, man. Are you the same way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this wasn't about so much the Metacritic, because I say Metacritic is trash from the very beginning. Once I know we do,
but you look how many people get involved with Metacritic or use Metacritic.
Again, I know, but people listened to their intuition instead of listening to others, and to me, that was the biggest point of this, of where State of Decay got there, because people knew that they played the first State of Decay. I knew of PlayStation people that were bringing up State of Decay and how much they loved the first game, and for them to knock the second one, even though the second one is better in every which way, but it still got a lower score, that even made people that don't even like Xbox like that kind of like, huh, really? I mean, and so that's just coming to show that, look, man, the Metacritic score is a bunch of bullshit. It's about just jumping in and playing the game and knowing and seeing if you like it or not. And Game Pass gives that opening to where you can play the game to see if you like it. And just like with Sea of Thieves went well over expectations. So it's like, you can say these games have low scores. These games don't compete with what Sony may be pushing out, but these games are still selling, and these games are still generating a lot of buzz. And the biggest factor with these games is that they're still going to be played long after God of War is done, Detroit's done, Spider-Man's done. That's just the fact.
I'm going to be playing Spider-Man for a while, though. I will say that, man.
You're not going to be playing Spider-Man longer than we're going to be playing Sea of Thieves.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
State of Decay. I'm just saying. Look, Spider-Man. I've seen it on the floor. Spider-Man looks really dope, and the fact that I still think that even if with DLC, the game is still not going to have the same type of effect as those Sea of Thieves and State of Decay will have. And State of Decay, you know, for them to already get hard copy sales is a testament to just, hey, look, man, just making a good quality game. And for also, you got to give big kudos to Undead Labs for fixing that problem as quick as they did, because
that was quick.
That for the issues that the game had, they ironed them out and showed that, hey, look, man, we are in support of you guys buying this game, and we wanted to get it fixed as soon as possible.
I got you, brother. I mean, like, I was kind of shocked when that news came out. And you know what? I'm really interested to see now, because we all know Forza Horizon is a very established racing franchise that seems to be growing. I would say at some point in time, it's gonna overtake Motorsport in terms of like that flagship racer that really kind of, reaches a bigger demographic. So with Game Pass and everything like that, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with that game when that releases. And then next year with like Gears 5 and stuff, because this is kind of like territory we've never been in before as gamers, and I'm interested to see kind of like the reactions and what's going to happen with these titles. Don, what do you think about this? Are you a State of Decay fan? Do you see what I'm saying? Where I'm not into sales, but when I see everything that was stacked up against this title, to see it come out in such a manner and hit kind of like that #1 spot, that's a little insane to me, man.
Well, I think it did better than anyone's expectations, right? I mean, that's the reason why it's a topic. The other thing is this. I don't know how much God of War sold this last month either, but the fact that beat off God of War, the window for
off God of War.
Well, don't go there. But anyways, a single player game like that, typically the window is 6 months, right? Where the sales for that game is going to be the strongest. So if it's not first month, the second month is going to be the next strongest sales for that game, right?
Yeah.
And then it's going to start petering out closer to that 6 month window, and then it basically has a really steep drop off. So that's what God of War to be beat out by State of Decay, which is it's an underdog, and then have Detroit 2 Human back to back, and still beats out both of that is a surprise. I think it's a surprise for everybody, and I'm not even a fan of State of Decay, so. Even for me, I wasn't like rooting for State of Decay to beat or anyone else. I just wanted to do well, and that's all I cared about. But if you dig deeper, it shows that like a lot of these opinions that are out there, no one cares about them. That's what it really shows. Like, so when you look at Metacritic, right? Like, gaming is like, I don't care about Metacritic. Well, everyone that bought the game doesn't care about it either. Like,
hell yeah.
That's the harsh reality. They're not. So it shows a bigger window of what's going on with these major media outlets. Like, are they getting traffic from Microsoft guys? Probably not anymore, right? Are they dying? You see less and less of these articles. You see them pop up here and there, but less and less of these let's bag on Xbox articles, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're seeing this weird tide trend. The fact that the media was so positive during E3, I think that's a repercussion of the fallout of people just stopped going to their sites because they're tired of the shit. So, like, that's what this is telling. It's telling it in another story. Yes, the game did great. It's also telling you that the gamers are not putting up with you guys anymore, and they're moving on. And I think the enabling thing is Game Pass, right? It's getting gamers to try out a game. And if gamers like something, guess what? They buy it. Simple as that. It's not that difficult. So it's lowering that barrier, getting people to try it, and we'll see where Game Pass really influences. I really felt like the third game was going to be the true tale of
Forza
what's
Horizon
going on.
then, right?
Yeah. Well, originally we thought it was going to be Crackdown, right?
Yeah.
But that's obviously in February. So. Now it's Forza Horizon, so that's going to be an interesting thing is, that's going to be a hard game to judge because Forza Horizon 3 did really, really well. Like, it pops up in charts out of nowhere, right?
Uh-huh.
In the UK and in the US and stuff like that.
Yo, shout out to the UK, by the way, because when it comes to gaming racers, the people that get into racing games and stuff like that, seeing these titles pop up in terms of games like sold most throughout the month, seeing the Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon just kind of keep popping up even this far out. You guys are some serious,
they're car guys.
Gamers, man.
They're car guys over there for sure. So I mean, that being said, like they've done really well in these areas. So Motorsport is going to be a hard one to judge because it's done really well. That franchise has grown more than any other, and we have Game Pass, so it's just going to be a hard one to look at. I expect Forza to do well, Forza Motorsport, but Horizon. But we'll see how we're gonna have to judge it. That one we'll have to drill down the numbers and compare it to last year and compare it to what their expectations most likely were and where they end up landing within that first month. So,
all right, cool. Well, guys, we are getting close to the 2-hour mark. If we didn't just barely go over it. Does anybody have anything kind of like final to say about State of Decay 2 and what's been going on in terms of sales? Because if you do, speak now or forever hold your peace. And we're good. Guys, another great show. I got to say, huge shout out to the chat. You guys were going crazy. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. We had up over 90 people at one point in time. We have 51 thumbs up. If you want, we got 1 thumbs down too. So if you want, you can hit that as well. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we got to get those plugs in. And I am gonna start with the man, the myth, the legend, the one that's been in this chat for a while now, just going back and forth with Dirty and Monkey and everybody. Yes, the Angry Otter himself. Dude, Dark, let him know what you're up to and where they can get a hold of you, man.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live, the same name. You can also check me out every Thursday on TSGP. That is the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then you guys can always find me here on Next, just doing my thing. Just
doing my thing. Yeah. It's become second nature, right? On Next Podcast, man. I got
pretty much.
That's good. I want everybody. Like I said, we are a family. We have extended family in the chat. Like, of course, Saltiest Gaming, Dirty J, Monkey, So Shady. There is just so many people out there. I feel like the Next Podcast is kind of like one of those Italian families, and every Saturday we come together for that reunion. And we end up having anywhere between 80 to like 100 and some odd family members like talking about games or whatnot.
And they all bring food too. They all bring food.
I haven't gotten any food though.
Well, that's your problem. You're
Dude,
the Italian guy that doesn't get.
I don't understand this, man.
That is one thing on the internet I don't trust is people sending me food.
I throw it out for sure, but
All right, man. Let's go next on the list. And before I say this, I'm not trying to jinx him right now, but currently has the most votes for the best gameplay this
for old ass gameplay.
Predator, why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you, what guest appearances you might be making, stuff you're up to, man? You know the deal.
Predator_H2OS, pretty much everywhere. You guys can find me in chat and pretty much everyone's podcast. Obviously here next week. I got that award-winning gameplay footage this week. Y'all keep voting for Pred, and I'm a national champion. Thanks, guys.
Old ass gameplay.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. This week.
Are you gonna celebrate now?
That is actually
celebrate yet. Not yet. I'll hold off.
Freaking.
Nah, you heard he was really calm. He was really cool. He just threw a couple of little zingers in there, but he was like, "Yeah, vote for Pred." He's waiting for that. The poll is up for 24 hours, so you guys have 24 hours to get your votes in, but you should get them in as quick as possible. K Mega, dude, ever since E3, I gotta say you have come back with an extra energy, man. It is good to hear that you have seen that there is stuff beyond this console war. I've been trying to tell people, you know, I love this community, but when you look at it in terms of gaming globally, we are a small community. And to see, you know, what we put up with, it was good to see that you've seen kind of like that broader spectrum. Why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and bust out that list of what you're doing throughout the week, man?
Yeah, man, you can check me out on the GRG podcast every Friday night after Crossfire, man, 8:30 Central. What is it? 5:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. You can definitely check me out on the next podcast, of course, BGST, tomorrow or Monday, whenever we do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever we do it, and whenever I get my chance on the multiplayer. Big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. And man, just keep it gaming, man. Have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the haters, man.
Hey Mega, are we gonna ask Next Gen what's going on with the State of Decay 2 and all those sales and stuff?
Oh well, we'll ask him about it. They already have some kind of bullshit that they want to try to talk about. And,
like duck, dive, and dodge, right?
Yeah. They're gonna do the bob and weave. You know what I'm saying? with every topic, but regardless, you know what I'm saying? They'll talk about either sales or something else that's pertaining to PlayStation being at the forefront. But right now, it looks like Xbox has got the momentum. I'm
starting to get more and more convinced that Next Gen thinks that adult games is like gore porn, man. Ever since the Last of Us 2, and kind of like what we saw in terms of the gore aspect, and he's like, that's an adult game, man. I don't know. I gotta talk to our brother a little bit more and see.
Gears got a lot to say. Gears 5 got a lot to say about that.
No, I'm saying, right?
Right.
All right. Well, check this out, Don. You know what time it is, man. You gotta let people know what you're up to, how they can get a hold of you, if there's any possible guest appearances going on. Man, you know the drill.
Yeah, the best way to do is follow me on Twitter, which is the Dawn underscore.
That's it. You're not living that down. You are the Dawn.
I know. The Dawn underscore KTR. My gamer tag's the same thing, but no underscore, just a space. I'm approaching almost 1,000 followers. It's slow and steady. So I'm at 993, so it may happen this week. We'll see what's going on.
Dude, that could happen in like 5 minutes from now. Yo, everybody needs to go follow the Don.
Yeah, but outside of that, I'm going to be playing some Xbox because I'm done working on the house, and my house is almost done. So my channel might have some more stuff going on down the road.
You've been saying that for like 3 months already. You're like,
yeah. Don't remind me or my wife of that. I'll be honest with you.
It's almost done now.
No, the floor is all in. I'm just doing baseboards and all the finishing work, so just time consuming.
You got to break that up. You know, with hitting the grill. And smoking that meat as well. So.
Well, the great thing is once you put the meat in the smoker, you just let it do its thing, right? So you just, you can do other things when the meat's going.
Nice. And I did hear K Mega said that you and Mr. 100 need to get together and do like an outdoor grilling type picnic type thing.
Oh, it's on
next
E3.
Yeah, next E3. That's the plan. Yes.
Everyone wins in that situation.
Yeah, that would be the E3 I have to go to, man.
Yeah,
right. Because 100, he burned. I was impressed. He could do his thing.
Did he give you some dry ass ribs, or were they?
No. His chicken was on point. You know what I'm saying? His steak was on point. I was impressed.
Hey, Mega, did you shout out Intro Media, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
All right, I'm used to getting that at the end as we're
no. I kept it smooth, subtle. You know what I'm saying? didn't go into everything else. You know what I'm saying? Nice. But yeah, I might as well say since you did. Go
What's
ahead
up,
and K Mega 405's channel on YouTube. Go ahead and do that.
Go ahead.
Sub that.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
And like I said before, and I can't state this enough, man. The chat has been absolute fire. Thank you guys again for all your support. When YouTube changed things up, I absolutely loved it. To have the chat next to the show for people who can't check this out live, I think that is one of the greatest things they have ever done, because you are a part of this show as much as anybody else on this panel, and I thank you guys again so much. But it is Saturday. Gamers got a game. We got to get those controllers in our hands. So as I say at the end of every show, we will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Later, guys. Gals.
Night, everyone.
He bought.
You can't fight the friction.